actually, I'll go into that story now. So where we came up with the name for the greatest mistake of my life. So basically, when we released the self-titled, I had this little like this kind of like routine that when we got a vinyl of the band, I'd like go and visit my nan because she had a record player in the living room, and I'd just like give it to her and be like, oh, you know, thanks so much, blah blah blah. And she was like, mad to think that you're not the first person in the family to record a vinyl record. So I was like, whoa, like who else would have, you know, who else in my family had recorded a vinyl? And she said that when she was younger, her uncle, so this would have been in like the 50s, maybe 60s, like recorded like a recording of himself singing a song a cappella, and it was just like a small little like 7-inch, and it was just one song, and it was just him, and there's probably about 3 copies of it. Googled it, Gracie Fields, the greatest mistake of my life. I went on the lyrics thing, and it said like uploaded in 2007 at the bottom. So I was like, shit, man, like, so this is 12 years ago somebody uploaded these lyrics onto the internet. So this was kind of at the dawn of the internet, really, wasn't it? 2007. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I got a name. So I YouTubed Gracie Fields, the greatest mistake of my life, and a video came up of her singing it, and it had 30 views. And I was like, whoa, okay, so this song that my nana's recommended or mentioned to me is like the only thing I can find of it is the fact that the lyrics were put online by somebody in 2007, and the video of her singing it has 71 views.
Mad.
So
that's absolutely mad.
And this is it. So this is the money. When we played the Scala show, obviously I wore this shirt that said the greatest mistake of my life, and nobody would have noticed this, but that song played over the speakers as we had the photo. We just knew, we were so confident in the title and just the story and just everything. When we played that show, we were just like, oh. So anyway, so that's where the greatest mistake of my life comes from. So then I knew the title, but nothing else, you know. So I kind of worked backwards, and then I asked myself, what does the greatest mistake of my life mean? What does it evoke? What emotion does it kind of like portray and stuff? Yeah.
Ash is the hardest hitting drummer I've ever recorded, literally bar none.
Ash's constant hard work and like emotional just outpour, you know, and like somebody who's always there to talk to, somebody who's always there to cry to, somebody who's always there to cry with.
Ash is crazy. I don't think any of us would change it really, because he's such a source of like joy and entertainment. He's really kind-hearted and good-natured, and he just wants to help his mates out no matter what, you know, like it doesn't matter if it ruins his life, he'll do whatever he can to help his mates. Having Ash put every last bit of effort into every hit, it enhances the feeling you get from the vocals. It's weird, like they complement each other. So, and Ash is an intense person, he feels music properly. A lot of drummers are just there to hit drums. Ash is inside the song, which is a really good asset.
So it's going to be 4 bars. Always look to me if you don't know where something's coming in. I'll be giving you the finger, so to speak.
Yeah, he's like a perfect mix of like a jam drummer and a tight one, you know? So
yeah, you really.
Every now and then he'll do something really good.
Sorry.
I'll just go double.
Alright.
Double back, mate.
Okay. Do you want me to just leave them out? Okay.
It's good. Lovely ring, isn't it? Guitar. Yeah, there's not enough decay on this, is there?
Yeah.
But
then I do like the Black Beauty.
it's been like essentially it's been a crazy dream come true, being in, you know, Middle Farm Studios for a month and having someone like Dan, you know, produce the record and be there and be as passionate and as fired up for it. You know, that's something that you can't pay someone enough to be excited about an album if they're just not excited about it.
You know, and like with all the guys, I get on with them all brilliantly. Ash is, I think that probably stands out for him. He's kind of like, he loves cooking a massive roast for everyone, and he loves looking after people, and he's a good soul. So yeah, pleasure to be in a studio with. He, being a drummer, could have the capacity to annoy the shit out of me after a while, but he doesn't. Well, never has. So.
Where are my shoes? Where are they? They're upstairs, yeah.
The board is done.
The board is done. Are we taking it over to the middle room?
I might leave it here and then let James fill in all the bits that I need him to fill in tomorrow.
Okay, can I come slide over a bit?
So E-L-E-C.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, I'm just making sure. It's a long word, mate.
Oh, fuck.
And then percussion.
Oh, percussion's a fucking massive word!
Then what else is there?
Oh, no.
Scott's a prick, to be honest. No, Scott's brilliant.
He's such a hard-working man. He's such a like passionate, driven man. He's so talented.
Mine and Scott's relationship's a funny one because it's the oldest, but you know, I mean, the oldest things go through the most things, you know, and like we've had our ups and downs and stuff, but like I just owe so much of who I am and what I've been able to do to him.
Scott's been like, it's almost like my right-hand man on this.
Is this totally too muddy?
It depends, because we're going to have the jangle.
Yeah,
so
okay, yeah.
You don't want that to be too bright.
You know, I think he'll be a producer at some point, because he has a vision.
Yeah.
You just love insane amounts of decay.
Similar to decay, but it to be like one thing rather than being able to hear like 10 different overtones.
He perfectly encapsulates what it is to be Holden Absence for this record, and there's no one else I feel could have done as good a job as he did when he stepped up.
You know, he's really come into his own on this because he wasn't on the previous record, and I can only imagine what it would be like to be playing on a record, you know, an album for the first time in a band that had already established itself.
Think more of like a traditional gainy tone. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe the Victory or the Recto. Try the Marshall as well if you want.
Just thinking the Marshall, you get a super nice brittle front on it.
Yeah, okay.
So we can try some different combinations and see what feels good.
Yeah, I trust Scott like nobody really, because I think Scott just has everything I don't, and vice versa, and it's this funny kind of thing that we've kind of been fortunate enough to be able to lean on each other with.
Yeah, we've had a really great working relationship, and you know, I hope we can do it more in the future. But yeah, he's as these guys say, he smashed it on a writing front, like, and he should be proud because I think he stepped the music up to another level that it has been before.
It sums up this period in the band, you know, like I feel like this album is it just feels special to all of us, and I feel like it really kind of bookends the old era of Holden Absence and kind of is the start of Holden Absence. It's almost like a rebirth. It's almost like the band starting again in my eyes. You know? It was 10 o'clock this morning before we left, and I was like, "Hey Dan," I was like, "Do you want to go shopping before we get here?"
We did.
And Dad was like, "Nah, I'll be fine. I get here. It's just 20 tins of kidney beans." Lucas, I've known him probably the longest out of anyone, you know, in my life, really. Like 11 years or something, and he's always been there for me, you know, if I've ever needed anything, and he's just been one of my best friends for literally as long as I can remember, and you know, there's nothing, you can't really get any better than that, can you? You know, to have someone in your life for that long, and even to go through some, you know, some turbulent times, and to come out of it on the other end, you know, where we are currently is, you know, it's a special thing.
Well, Lucas knows how much I respect him. You know, although we're like, he's virtually half my age and completely different. I see a lot of my own obsessive, intense, controlling, can't think about anything other than lyrics and songs. I see a lot of those traits in me that I see in him, and he knows that. I've told him that.
It's so weird because it's like there's so much of a climb. It's like you kind of don't know where to put your foot. Okay, cool. In your lover's arms. Got it. Cool.
He kind of eats and sleeps it, but it's, you know, he's one of those rare breeds where everything that comes out of his mouth when he's singing sounds incredible.
Could you clip everything other than the lower again? Or not clip, chop it off. So it's just.
So the lower one's carrying on. So.
But it's just the again. So.
Oh, I see. So it's just exposing again.
Again. But that's only.
That's not it.
You know, there's like there's a way that Lucas sings and writes that I don't think I've never had a connection with lyrics and songs the way I have a connection with our songs.
Well, I mean, if you listen to it, it is like 4 parts. So it's like light of my life, how I miss you so. Light of my life, how I miss you so. And like it's kind of like that. But if we view it more like the light of my life, how I miss you. Like so, kind of like 2. And that works specifically because there is a lot of vocals over that bit anyway.
You know, when we read through lyrics together and we sit through and we're either taking notes or he's showing us stuff, and it's like, shit, like he's thought about that. He knows what he needs to sing about. He knows what he wants to sing about in this song.
I think the way Lucas writes it definitely sort of almost like challenges people to look within themselves and think about their own life and their own happiness and their own relationships and things like that. So I think that definitely reaches out to a lot of people who look to do that with music. I mean, that is arguably the main reason lots of people listen to music. It's for that sort of, it's like a release, or it's like escapism.
You know, he fit. You know, and the two of us, we have a really good bond. We feel music. You know, he feels it in the way I feel it, where we wait for the shivers on every line. So to work with someone who you can connect with on that level is like, it's extremely satisfying for me, because like he won't just do a take. He'll be like, yeah, he wants to get it right.
Yeah, wicked. Alright, cool. Do we need to retrack anything? In your lover's and then finish it.
Sound like a robot.
It was like, I was sat in there and I said to Ash, I was like, this is weird for 2 reasons. Like, first off, this is my sister, and second off, this is someone else singing on my song.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like a weird, yeah, it was I don't know, it was weird because like it was as easy as it was hard. It was a very unique situation to be in, really, for me, emotionally and mentally, and like I said, it's the most special kind of thing. Same way I do it. Okay. I want these lines to be parallel with each other. Yeah. So I go, what do I even start with? You know, just let it fucking, and yeah, and like in terms of like holding notes as well, like tonight, don't let it like fall away, like just fucking hold it out, like, you know.
And left out in the cold. Lately, baby, it feels like gasping on the left back.
So make sure tonight is a little bit earlier. Waving you goodbye tonight. So it sort of flows into itself a bit more.
I would never have even originally pitched this to the boys because it's too special really in some respects. And I said,
that's what you said at the start, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the main thing was like I wanted it to be I wanted it to be musically special, not like personally special.
Yeah.
Like and I feel like we've captured that today, which is cool. And like Dan's a pro and he makes me sound good, so God knows what he can do with you, So and like on a personal level, it's just been like just really special, like you said about whenever I speak to people about my family, it's all about music, it's all about song, it's all about playing the old piano at my nan's house and me and you kind of just singing together and like that's just been like the highest kind of points of my life really. I've just been like singing with you, so the thought of that kind of being cemented in our own way is like really special, so I'm glad we got to. I know that they trust me to go through whatever process I have to, and it's tough love sometimes, and like I have this like vision sometimes, and I struggle to let it go, and I know I'm a flawed and probably the most flawed member of this band, and I'm well aware of that, and I know I have to embrace that sometimes because I believe that like the boys trust me to persevere with some of the harder things, like between like lyrics and melodies and all these weird, like I'm the weird member of the band.
The big man James, he's kind of the first person I was in contact with. James is kind of like everyone's best friend. He's a piss taker, but he's a good guy.
I don't understand how somebody like James exists. Like I'm so not savvy in any way, and James, I remember when he had a clothing company at the age of 16 and he's run like a food business thing.
He's always like there for a rational chat, and he'll always put things into perspective and keep you grounded about like if you're getting upset or overwhelmed by anything, he's really good at that kind of stuff.
It might be cool then to get like that really close for the drop down and get really close mic place when you try and like make it a bit like more whispery.
Yeah, literally from the throat.
Because otherwise, it being like that range twice kind of makes it less special.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
James is someone who's been very vocal to me about sometimes he'll have ideas that he can't articulate in a way that others could. But I've told James this, I really trust his vision when he has a suggestion or a thought about something.
I think you could do some like palm muted kind of like you could keep the rhythm here by doing like or just something like yeah, like you wouldn't keep going like that, you'd go like that sort of thing.
So, like a broken up part.
Yeah. Oh no, it was just that. It was that. I wanted to have a play with doing something. Second half of the chorus on guitar that's just not me and Scott going open.
Yeah, which we can do. I'm envisioning us just doing a fuckload of experimenting when we come to the guitar.
For sure.
That's perfect. And then we'll go into the next chorus that goes into the da 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 da. That was stunning. Okay, stay where you are.
He's a kind of a really great asset in the studio, and he puts himself down a lot. But I told him like he's great. I mean, I've recorded bad bass players. He's not one of them. So hopefully he'll stop telling everyone he's not good at bass.
I'm alive.
Why is this so creepy?
Well, it's fucking whispering the word "I'm alive," Dan. So yes, it's already been a success for me. It's something that nobody can ever take away from us. The fact that we were able to make an album that was funded by somebody else in a studio like Middle Farm with an acclaimed producer, like aka Dan Weller. I want to eventually get to the size where what we say actually can have an impact on other people's lives. I want to try and use music and use his career for some positive things.
He's super fun to be around. Like me, Ash and James, we love just messing around and doing stupid things.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Let's go like you, then me, then Scott, then.
Yeah.
He's slapping down.
Oh my god!
Ready to party now.
Yeah, it's horrible, mate. It is horrible, isn't it?
Oh god, please be careful, they're expensive. Please, no.
The more I think about it, this has already been a success. Like, I need to stop taking things for granted and realise that, like, I never thought I'd be in a studio making an album. When you listen to our music, you can almost imagine the four of us giving our all. And I mean, especially with things like how hard Ash is hitting the drums, or you know how hard me and Scott are playing the guitar parts, and then of course how much Lucas is giving it in the vocal booth. I think it's that and the lyrics that then makes our record such a sort of overwhelmingly emotional thing.
Well, I guess the one thing that's really going to punctuate this album in terms of looking back on it is that it's happened while this pandemic has happened. And I think it's quite funny that when someone watches this, it might be like Terminator 2 outside, I don't know, but like it's been a weirdly unifying thing because we're trapped in the middle of nowhere, detached from reality and humans, and we've been here for ages. And I think it's enhanced the feeling of sort of immersing ourselves in the album.
I think that's why, that's hopefully, I think, maybe why people connect with our songs, because there's a deeper rooted connection from us in those songs that is just, it's like the sincerest form of love into those songs that we then go, here's us, you know, here's the four of us as a band, here are our songs, like just have them and live with them, and they're yours now. These songs aren't ours anymore. This is for everyone else. This is for the people that care or just want to listen one time, you know.
We've really, really buried ourselves with this album. Like, I have not slept for 5 weeks at all. So I think, I'm hoping I'll be able to reflect on it and go, wow, you know, that's the dream. I just want to be able to enjoy it as a listener. So I guess that's it.
And it's easy to just stop. It's easy to just not think about where we are currently. And I think we're in a really good place and we're headed for really good things. Yeah, sometimes you just got to sit back and think and look at it almost from 10-year-old me's perspective of what would he think if he saw me where I was right now recording an album, you know. And yeah, things are definitely looking good, and I think if they carry on the way that we hope they're gonna go with this album release, then I think we're in for some good stuff.
And I feel like that, you know, man, that's like the best thing about being in a band is like, it isn't just me, you know. It's like me and like 3 other incredibly talented, complex people who've lived lives, and like just how we all just put this stuff together and just create things that are so much better than we are. Ash, James and Scott are like blood brothers, like business partners and like best friends. You know, those 3 completely different things. We're like, no matter what, like we will love each other and we will support each other and we will trust each other. And like, that's such a hard kind of relationship to come by truly underneath it all, you know. When you zoom out, it's just 4 people who are just friends and love music and just know that we're in a lucky position and are really just taking it for all we can get. Just listening to the album the other day, I was just like, I just really feel like, I felt like it a bit at the end of the debut, like, you know, I can keel over in a corner somewhere now and I've got something to speak for me, but man, this album really speaks for me. This album is better than I am. Like, cool. One more, and then I think we're good. Yeah, I did. I just rather be safe than sorry. But I feel like I'm in the zone for winning now. You know what I'm saying? So.